This simple activity will demonstrate how to design your own algorithmic problem in Excel. You see here that many of the values change to create different versions of the same problem. The numbers and words in red vary. These include the amounts of the 3 deposits, the version number, the first and last names in the sentence, the vacation destination, and the vacation time. To add these variations, we'll start with this static example where nothing changes and overwrite some of the existing content so the values change with each version. First, we'll use the rand_between function to randomly generate the first deposit amount so it falls within the range of 100 to 500. So we'll overwrite with equal rand_between 100 to 500. And when we enter that amount, it randomly generates 452. And with each iteration, it changes. We want the same for deposits 2 and 3. Click on this. We can right-click and copy it. We can highlight cells D8 and D9. Right-click, and this time we're going to paste special, and we're going to paste the formula. And once we do, you can see that all 3 of these amounts change, and they change independently of one another. Each has its own rand_between function. Next, we'll randomly generate the version number. We'll create a variable to be included. We can use a blank cell for this. We'll select cell B13, and again we'll use the rand_between function. And we'll use a number between 10,000 and 99,000. And enter. And that randomly generates a number with each new version. Now this is the number we actually want included in the version number up here. So what we'll do is we'll adapt this text string to accommodate the variable. And the variable is in B13. And how we'll do that is enter an equal sign at the beginning, quotation mark, and a quotation mark at the end. Now that really doesn't change much in the result in cell G2, but it prepares us for entering the variable. What we can do now is take out the 10,000. And now we're left with just version number. So what we'll do now is come back to the formula bar. We can add what's called an ampersand, which joins or concatenates 2 different values. So we have the string that says version number first, and then we're going to concatenate that with the value in B13. And once we go ahead and register that, we can see that the version number here is the same as the version number here. And with each new iteration, each time cell B13 changes, so does the version number in the string in cell G2. Now we'll randomly generate text values that vary within the first sentence. Again, we'll create variables to be included in the blank cells. In cell B14, I've already pre-populated a choose function. And what this does, it selects one out of a horizontal list. So there are 8 first names, and those are all listed between quotation marks with commas between them in this string. And what the choose function does, it says select the 4th one. So I had already placed a 4 in here, so it should return the name Jenna. And it does. So that's not very algorithmic. But what we're going to do is we're going to overwrite that 4, and we're going to use once again a rand_between function. And we're going to go 1 through 8 because there are 8 names. And now it'll randomly select a number and then randomly pick whichever value or whichever name corresponds to that number. So this time it brings back Tara. And it must have randomly selected A7 because Tara is 7th in the row. So the choose combined with the rand_between can cause your name to vary algorithmically. And we can see that here. Ellen, Andrea, Lisa, and so forth. Now, we want that name to appear in this sentence. So what we will do is go ahead at the beginning, equal, quotation mark, and a quotation mark at the end of the sentence. Again, it doesn't change much. But now we're prepared to enter the variable from B14 here. So what we'll do is we'll take out Carol, and we will start off with B14 and concatenate that with the rest of the sentence. So we still have space, Gould, and the rest of the sentence. When we enter that, we see that Andrea appears down there, and Andrea appears at the beginning of the sentence. As it changes in B14, it also changes within the sentence. There are 3 other text values to change within the sentence: the last name, the destination, and the time. And to save time, I've already pre-populated these with a choose function so that you can see that we have a choose function for the last name, 1 through 8, and then 8 possible last names. And of course, you could have more than 8, fewer than 8, but in this case, we're using 8 consistently. Then for the destination, we also have 8 possible choices. And for the time, we have 8 possible choices. And you can see that year is listed twice, so it has twice as much of a probability of being selected than the months that are shown there. So as you can see down here, these are constantly changing, but we haven't put them in the sentence yet. So let's go ahead and do that. You can see that B14 is already in there. We've done that already, but now we want to change Gould. So what we're going to do is say, all right, let's take out Gould. Let's move that out and delete that extra space and go ahead and now put B15 in here and concatenate. So this is just joining them together with ampersands. And right now you can see that now we do have a first and last name that changes. Katie Smith, Maria Hardy, Tara Patel, and so forth. The only problem is that the space is gone. So we can just go ahead and tweak that. What we're going to do, we're going to have an ampersand, a quotation mark for a text string, 1 space, quotation mark to end that, and an ampersand. And what that will do, it will generate a space between the first and last name, which is exactly what we want. And so that does change. Next, we'll change the destination. So what we'll do here is we will end this string, end that text string with a quotation mark, put an ampersand, delete Hawaii, enter in cell, whatever's in cell B16, an ampersand to join it, and then an open quotation mark for this very last string. Say OK. So Hawaii appears down here, Hawaii appears up here. And as we change each iteration, you can see that the destination now changes. So all we have left is the time. Instead of March consistently, let's go ahead and change March. We'll end this string here. We'll concatenate. We'll put whatever's in B17 here, concatenate, move out that March. And we do want one more string with the period in it. When we press enter, we can now see that it says year, July, May, August, year, March. So they do all change. The last step is to make the algorithmic version static. Be sure to keep a master copy of the algorithmic version first. Then generate a copy, and now we'll make that copy static. So what we're going to do here is we're going to highlight all of the content in our problem. And that will be cells B2 through H11. We can right-click there in that area and select copy. And then we can right-click and we're going to paste special. This time we're going to paste the values. So we're overriding the formulas, overriding the variables with just the values. And once we click off that, we can see that now the version number is static. There's no more variable. So is each of the deposit amounts. And so is the sentence. There are no variables anymore in the sentence. It's just a static copy. And this is what can be distributed to students. Now the last step would be to remove all of this content that we used to create the problem. That is not something the students would need. So we can remove that, and it is no longer attached by using cell references, no longer attached to the content at the top. So what you've seen here is how to create the variables, how to create an algorithmic version, and then how to make that algorithmic version static in order to distribute to your students.